Yo, what's up guys? I'm here with my games from round 3 of Smogon Masters, and let's hop right into it. So, my opponent brought a Sun team. It's pretty obvious to me what the sets were just based on his team. So I know it'd be Charizard-Y, because that's usually what you want to have paired with Default Kartana to keep the rocks off. You know, he ran for the fire spam, Scarflanders. It's just pretty clear to me what the sets were. So, yeah, as far as my team, choosing Mega T-Tars, I felt that I do pretty well versus my opponent's teams. And yeah, how I'm aiming to win this game is just a DD T-Tar sweep. I can set up versus things like Heat Ran, Tapu Fini, because Moonblast is doing no damage. Because with the sand up, T-Tar is just so bulky. And really weak to my Ash-Greninja as well. His only answer to that is Tapu Fini, which can be worn down by spikes, sand, all these things. And the leftovers recovery is going to be negated by sand, so that's how I was going to go about that. You know, just clicking Hydro Pump repeatedly, the spikes up. So that's pretty much it. So you know, I top for Charizard-Y, Kartana. And yeah, let's hop right into the game. So I lead with my Landorus. We both lead off with Landorus. Makes sense because Landorus has pretty good matchup versus my team, and my Landorus has pretty neutral matchup versus the majority of his team. Versus Charizard-Y, I can bluff the Scarf, force it out. The Zoro versus Landorus, card, Heatran, all these things. So just good lead for me. As you turns out, not wanting to take an HP Ice, I was actually going to trade HP Ices, because I'm like, if I can HP Ice his Landorus, that means he can't switch into my T-Tar later with my Victini, so that'd be pretty good for me. But he elects to not stay in, goes hard to his Kartana, which is the best play, covers for me Stealth Rocking as well, because he can just defog those away, and covers for HP Ice, so it's all around his best play. As he knocks my helmet off, isn't a big deal, as Kartana already takes 62% by turn 2, so that's fantastic. So what I'm going to be able to do is get the slow U-turn out to my Greninja, and force this Kartana out. No way you give me a free kill turn 2, so what I'll be able to do is get up a free spike, knowing that Fini is coming. So I'll go to my Fini as a mid ground in case he decided to double out to one of his fire types on my Ferrothorn. Because what I don't want is him, you know, double out to Heatran as Ferrothorn comes in, then he gets up rocks, and it's just not good for me, as that would hamper my ability to double around. So I don't want that, as Fini was the overall better play. As I just stay in here knowing that he's not going to Leaf Blade, just to gauge what his set is, just to confirm that he's Synthesis, and he is. So Moonblast there does a decent amount, actually 38%, but I can't stay in here obviously, so gotta go to my Landorus, as he likely to Synthesis again. As what I'll be able to do is U-turn out, get a slow U-turn once again into my Greninja. This cycle is going to repeat where I have Landorus U-turning out versus Kartana into Greninja, as Fini comes in and I get the spike back up. So that's exactly what's going to happen. I was going to my Ferrothorn here. Pretty safe that time because I know he wouldn't double out that turn. So just knock off in case he decided to randomly stay in. Also covers for Heatran too, because knocking that thing's leftovers off would be great for my Victini. So but it doesn't. Goes back to this annoying Kartana, as it's just walling everything. As I go hard to my Greninja, pretty crazy play, but I knew an offensive play wasn't coming out there. He's either going to Synthesis or Defog. Going for something like Leaf Blade is definitely not the play there, as hard Greninja, double out to T-Tar, knowing that the Tapu Fini is coming. Basically trying to bait him to stay in, because if he takes a Stone Edge, he's going to be really weak to my Greninja later on. But he's wise and doesn't allow that, or taking a bunch of unnecessary damage. Goes hard to this Kartana again, as a pretty crazy play, because if I decided to Dragon Dance and I was Fire Punch, I would have smoked him. But I'm actually not Fire Punch on this team. I'm Ice Punch Earthquake, so Kartana actually walls me, which is pretty funny. So what I have to do here is go to my Victini, knowing the Z-move's coming out, because that's actually the only thing that can knock out T-Tar from there. So I'm like, he's definitely going for Z-move here. Go to my Victini. I can't go to Landorus because Z-move into regular Leaf Blade would just knock me out, so that absolutely makes no sense. Have to go to Victini here because it's the only thing that can keep up the offensive momentum. Take a bunch of damage in the process, but I felt like I had to. It's not like anything else can switch in at that point. So U-turn there, knowing he wouldn't stay in. As as the Tyranitar takes a U-turn plus a spike, which is fantastic, as I get my Greninja in. And here, just fire for a nice Hydro Pump, as this Fini is going to be forced to take a spike plus Hydro Pump, which is around 30%, so that's great. And here, pretty crucial turn, so I know that he wouldn't go for something like Nature's Madness. This doesn't make sense, because the only thing that will hit is Ferrothorn. You don't need Ferrothorn weakened for anything on your team. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know we would have Moonblast either, because again, just Moonblasting into Ferrothorn just loses a lot of momentum, and what that would allow is for me to double out again into Greninja to cover for the Katana or one of the fire types, things like that. Just not an ideal situation for you. I could even go hard T-Tar too on Fini, because I won't take much damage from Moonblast with the sand up. So also, I've conditioned this guy to think that every time Fini comes in on Greninja, I'm gonna switch out, being scared, not wanting to die to Moonblast, but that is not the case. And another reason is if I keep repeating this cycle of playing defensively versus his team, I'm gonna lose the long game, because like Cortana just gonna keep defogging versus everything, and just firing off attacks, and I can just beat my team, like I said, in the long game. So I can't afford to keep allowing that to come in. So I'm like, I gotta make a play sooner or later. So knowing that he'd likely double out to something to cover for multiple options, being another T-Tar on Fini, Ferrothorn, going to something like Charizard-Y, I know he'd double out to something that Hydro Pump would catch. So here, make a pretty risky play. Hydro Pump, hit the double pump, and I destroyed his Landorus. So amazing turn for me, because Landorus was the only thing that could outspeed T-Tar, once it starts Dragon Dancing. So that's, completely out the way. His Intimidate pivot is gone, and yeah, that's amazing. So not only do I kill his Landorus, but I get my Ash form in the same turn. So pretty devastating for him, but game-changing turn for me, as this just flipped the whole game around. So I go to my Fini here, as his Fini comes in. He doubles out, knowing that I'm not gonna stay in, again, and potentially risk dying to Moonblast. So just made the most sense for him to double out there, as he Flamethrowers, possibly predicting me to pivot to Pharaoh and Solar Beam. Didn't want me pivoting out to something like T-Tar the next turn or something like that. I don't know, but go to Victini here, knowing that he's either gonna Roost or Solar Beam. It just covers for everything, as I V-Carry to a clean 60%, putting him in range of my Greninja Dark Pulse. So he reveals to be HP Ground, which is gonna be crucial later on, because that means my T-Tar just sets up on this completely. So gonna go to my Greninja here, because this basically confirms another KO, as a Dark Pulse does 41%. And here, pretty big misplay. Should have just used my Z move, because no reason to save it. It's not gonna be important versus anything on his team. I can just click Dark Pulse, basically to avoid my Greninja taking 80%. It's not a big deal, because this wasn't switching into anything. It's likely just gonna get free switches to click moves, but again, taking 80% was kind of just stupid. But I used my Z move there, because in case that Heatran has Protect, no reason to risk that and then dying to Magma Storm chip. So because the way Z moves work is they go through Protect. So if you happen to have that, I'll just knock him out through the Protect. So anyway, he goes to his Fini here, as I go to my Fini, to take the Nature's Madness, and then he goes to Charizard-Y to cover for pretty much everything. Covers for Moonblast, covers for me clicking Nature's Madness, because he'll just be able to Roost the next turn. As I'm like, no, I'm not giving you any momentum. I'm gonna double to my T-Tar, because it covers for the Fini Moonblasting or the Charizard-Y coming in, which is more likely. So I'm like, this is a free Dragon Dance, because this guy doesn't like missing, and doesn't use Focus Blast. So I dance in his Charizard-Y's face, as I just knock him out the next turn with a Stone Edge. And T-Tar is basically going to go on a mini sweep, as I knock out the Fini. Basically just trying to stall out the Misty Terrain turn, so that he can potentially freeze me with this Cresselia. which is pretty much his only out at this point. So he's gonna do that, as I'm not gonna allow that. Go to my Finny. Staying is actually not optimal for me, just risking a bunch of stone edges. Doesn't make sense. I'm just gonna go to my Finny here and click Taunt. Taunt on the switch means that this Kartana cannot heal, which is fantastic. Because that means when T-Tar Dragonesses again, I'm just gonna be able to knock him out. So go hard to my Landorus. This Landorus has been coming in on Kartana the whole game and U-turning out. So I'm gonna do that one last time to my Greninja and claim another kill. So Dark Pulse there, and it's pretty much the end of the game, because Cresselia is only hope at this point. Try to calm mind up in the face of a Greninja. It's not really gonna work, because I can just get flinches, crits, things like that. As soon as I get one of those, this game is over. So Dark Pulse still doing way too much, even at +1. Dark Pulse again, I believe I get a flinch this turn. Yeah, flinch him there, so the game's over. It didn't matter. Cresselia is never winning versus Leech Seed, T-Tar and Sand, things like that. So yeah, that play versus the Landorus was, like I said, a game changer, and pretty happy with that. So they're gonna be moving on to the next game. We're back with game 2, and my opponent challenged me to Gen 8. So decided to just bring a comfortable team because didn't have anything prepped for this actually. So I figured this would do the job. Nice Crawdaunt roll turn, and yeah. So how I'm gonna go about this one is just well positioned Crawdaunt versus things like Heat Ran, Dragon Ball locked into Shadow Ball, Weavile, and also deals with Blaziken because Bandit Aqua Jet is Oko. So I'm like, Crawdaunt's actually really solid in this game, despite being slower than everything. Right, Chomp also just sweeps, kind of. I mean, he has offensive checks being Weavile and Rillaboom, but those don't really want to switch in. So upon scale shotting, he has a lot of trouble dealing with that. So what I'm aiming to do is just remove Weavile so I can safely sweep, and yeah, that's pretty much that. So need to watch out for Dragapult. That's pretty much it. So let's hop right into the game. I lead Crawdaunt as my opponent leads Heatran. Makes sense because a lot of people like to mindlessly Torn, and what he'd be able to do versus that, just get up rocks, which I don't want on turn 1. So I figured Crawdaunt would give me the best positioning, as a knockoff do 60%, showing me that he is at Fizz Def Tran, and he burns me. So the reason I knock off instead of just immediately killing the Tran with Crabhammer is that I don't want him going to Dragapult on turn 2 and he's Dragon Dance and potentially sweeps me, because my Ferrothorn is fully Fizz Def on his team, so it can't even tank Life 4 Fire Blast, just get smoked. My Rotom is Spadef, so +1 Dragon Darts could also knock me out, so I didn't want to be in that situation, so I figured it'd be better to just knock off. I get burnt in the process, but it's whatever. Rather that than deal with that situation. So he switches the Tran out, not wanting to take more damage, because that is one of his Torn answers, so the main flying resist, so doesn't want that taking more damage, as he goes to Rillaboom and then pivots to Weavile. I'm like, bruh, there's no way you're clicking Grass or Fighting Move into Torn and all these things I can switch in. So I knew he was doubling 100%, and I clicked his play in like 2 seconds. That's how confident I was that he was doubling. So I knock off again on the Weavile, do a nice 42% after Grassy Terrain, and Cardinal's just going crazy right now. Everybody's getting chipped. So go to Ferrothorn. Only purpose is to deal with this, as he triple axles. I'm Helmet, so he is going to kill himself as he axles 3 times and just dies. So pretty embarrassing, as the Weavile just dies doing 13%. So that is fantastic, because like I said, trying to sweep a Chomp, and that's one of the things I need out of the way for that to happen. So that goes down. As he goes to Blaziken, he actually has to Flare Blitz, because close combat is not killing fully Fizz Def Pharaoh from 87. The max roll is 82%. So because of that, it's going to take a bunch of recoil as a result, and it's going to be down to what, like 40%, 50% after terrain and all these things. So that's great, as now he's in range of Aqua Jet from Crawdaunt, pretty much guaranteed. As I go to Chomp, my best play 100% is just Scale Shot. No reason to Earthquake, especially for this reason, should he decide to pivot to Polt, which makes a lot of sense because EQ and terrain is not doing much damage. And if he decided to CC, he would take Rough Skin, then a -1 Scale Shot with 2 hits guaranteed kills him. So no reason to Earthquake, as it was a Polt and gets murked. Lucky for him, I don't get more than 2 hits, and he has to switch once again because Polt is good to keep versus my team. So it goes to Rillaboom there, as he takes another 30%, and here I can actually die to Grassy Glide, even with the Life Orb gone at -2. So no reason to stay in, even if I don't die. Taking 90%, and then being in range of Shadow Ball from Polt, Blaziken, all these things doesn't make sense. So go straight to Torn, just the best play as I U-turn out versus the incoming Tran. As I go back to Chomp, it's pretty safe to EQ this time because you can't go to Polt at that range of health. It's too low. It could potentially die even with terrain up. So Tran just dies without getting rocks up, which is fantastic. So he goes back to Polt, and here he's actually going to U-turn. Pretty good play because despite me having no Dragon Resist, if I'm Assault Vest, Slowking, or Torn, and any Dracos, you don't want to be in a situation of having to switch into one of them afterwards. Like after you Draco. So U-turn is a good play because it allows him to position into Chomp versus Torn, get off an SD. Now here, I'm annoyed at myself because I don't have Ice Wind on this Torn, which makes absolutely no sense. I have Heat Wave, and I'm already Fire Fang on Chomp, Flamethrower on Slowking. Like, bro, why do you need that much fire coverage? Really should have checked this team before I used it. So because of that, this Chomp's gonna be a massive problem. Otherwise, Torn would have just swept. In fact, the game would have been over, and I've been Icy Wind, and this dies, and then Torn sweeps the rest. But because of that, I'm gonna have to play a bunch of games versus this Chomp. So I'm gonna go to Rotom as he SDs, and I believe, yes, I mean, not I believe, I'm gonna have to a little bit here, and I burn him as he SDs again to really neutralize the burn. As a Hydro Pump, along with Wisp, is doing good chip. As Hydro Pump again, as he Scale Shots, gets a very low amount of hits. As I believe I've missed, yes, but no way I'm gonna hit 2 pumps in a Wisp. That's just very low odds. As he knocks me out with the next one, go to Crawdont to basically put him in range of U-turn for my Torn, so that I can U-turn and knock him out. As even at -3, he still doesn't die because I'm burnt. And go to Torn here. Hopefully, not 5 hits, as I barely hang on and I U-turn out. Kill him at the same time and go to my Slowking. So that Chomp got a bunch of kills I shouldn't have, but it's fine. Still in a good position, as Chomp and Torn is still massive problems to him. So go to Slowking as it trades with everything. Dragon Ball, Spec Shadow Balls, I eat that up, knock him out. Blaziken, knock him out, same deal. As he does go to Blaziken, and Flare Blitzes, only does 50% because I'm Fizz Def, and knock him out with the Side Shock. So he goes to Dragon Ball, knocks me out, and I go to my Chomp. So pretty intense end game. So what I'm gonna do here is Earthquake. I already went to Torn and knock off, but the problem with that is I knock off into Rillaboom, right? Then it can pivot to Dragapult actually on the U-turn, and then Chomp is in versus Dragapult. Then I gotta go back to Torn, and it just creates a whole bunch of just bad situations I don't want to be in. So I figured just going Chomp was just way better. And here I actually clicked Scale Shot, not Earthquake. I could have safely clicked Earthquake, but the reason I didn't is because if I EQ right into Rillaboom, then I Scale Shot and miss. That could be bad because Grassy Glide can actually 2-hit kill me. And obviously I don't want to Fire Fang because I need the speed boost to kill Dragapult after that comes in. So if I miss Scale Shot, Grassy Glide, potentially 2-hit kill. This is again situation I just want to avoid. So just immediately Scale Shot as it comes in, and basically gives me 2 chances to hit as opposed to EQing and then Scale Shotting. Hope that makes sense. As he Grassy Glides, doesn't knock me out, because Chomp is very bulky indeed. As Scale Shot again, EQ is a roll. There's 33 to 39% with the grassy terrain up. So I'm just gonna scale shot. I mean, it's basically the same thing, either way. So, and I knock him out. So very, like I said, intense end game. Yeah, that's pretty much that. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.